There are many New Yorkers that are still recovering from the worst storm that many of us can remember, Hurricane Sandy. The storm impacted many lives all over New York's 5 boroughs, from Staten Island to Rockaway Beach. Our next two guests are Rachel Falcone and Michael Premo from Sandy's Storyline. Sandy's Storyline is bringing together the narratives of all these people to form a collaborative history of what happened. The project features audio, video, photography, and text stories contributed by residents and citizen journalists that are shared through an immersive web documentary and interactive exhibitions. They have spent the past months working with Occupy Sandy, an ongoing movement bringing a bottom-up vision for a more equitable New York.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Rachel Falcone and Michael Premo. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. How you doing? Have a seat. Thanks. That's a nice little piece. Okay, I didn't make it. It's that guy. Shoot an extra day? No, thank you. All right, guys, thank you for coming. So, I was doing research on the work that you guys have done, and I'm interested in it because it seems like it's doing sort of two things at once. I see it as being sort of an activist project and also sort of a historical document of sorts. Do you guys, how do you guys view it? Do you see it as one or the other or both, or?
I think we're always the both. We always have multiple hats. Mike and I both come from documenting the housing movement for many years and as activists ourselves. So I think we always want to see the project have an impact long term in terms of the storm.
Yeah, and the goal is really to think about how stories and culture and art can play a strategic role in movement building and building power and building the capacity of communities to be able to advocate for themselves. And so the idea is to create the tools that people can then use to be able to distribute and share their own stories however they see fit in whatever way that serves whatever it is that they're trying to drive at.
Yeah, well, Justin and I were talking about it beforehand, and we were saying that it really reminded us of Howard Zinn's People's History, in a sense, that it was letting common people tell their own stories. Was that something that was an influence, or has that occurred to you as you've gone along, or?
Yeah, I mean, from the moment that both of us went out after the storm, I was sitting in one of the charging stations, one of the first hubs that started in Red Hook, and I just saw how the story was way bigger than us, and it needed many voices to be telling that story. And the only way we were going to do that was to create a platform for people to actually tell in their own words, through their own pictures. Right. I mean, what's amazing is everyone, many people documented the storm on their cell phones. And you see, their perspective through the images that they chose. And, when they look back, they say, oh, this moment, that moment, and they sort of chose a powerful moment that meant a lot to them to document.
Yeah.
And so that's what's beautiful about the project, that we give the platform for people to share that content.
You guys actually brought a clip, right, from one of the, can you set that up for us? Let us know.
Sure. So this is Derek Prince. He was photographed and recorded by a photographer, Matt Richter, in Coney Island, and he's recorded on Thanksgiving Day, just shortly after the storm.
Okay, great. Check it out.
In everyday life, you kind of take certain things for granted. You take certain people for granted. And if I learned one thing from the storm, it was that the memories and the family time and whatever moment you hold precious to you that you can't ever get back if something like this happens are the things that deserve your focus, deserve your time, deserve your attention, deserve your adoration, deserve every ounce that you could give it to cherish it while the moment is taking place. Because at the end of the day, everything else can be replaced, but those can't, There'll never be another Thanksgiving 2012, I can get another TV, I can get another laptop, I can get another iPod, I can get some more clothes. But the memories and that you create, you can't get those back. You can make new ones, which is great, and I thank God for that opportunity. So yesterday was amazing and much needed.
So you guys must get so many submissions from people. How do you guys go about sort of creating the narrative for this project?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big question. I mean, it's the one thing that we've tried to resist the word crowdsourcing and really call it a participatory documentary, because people can be involved and can contribute to this project if it is as simple as sending in a text message or it's helping design any aspect of the project, right? And so we've had this sort of like negotiation with ourselves and with our contributors around what is the aesthetic quality, what is the aesthetic rigor that goes into making something that is both engaging, invites a lot of participation from lots of different people, but is also beautiful and compelling. Right? So we encourage people to share stories, and that's kind of like our baseline. If you share something and maybe your video skills or your documentation skills aren't as strong, but you share a compelling story, we have a place for that story. And we've had people who have not as strong technical skills, and we work with them and pair them up with sort of professional and more experienced media makers to help improve their storytelling.
So also, you guys have this is all kind of logged at your website, but you guys submitted a version of this for the Tribeca Film Fest, and won. What was the award was for the
for transmedia.
Transmedia.
Yeah, it's this brand new category that the Tribeca Film Festival, for a number of years, they've been sort of supporting this new kind of world of kind of cross-platform storytelling, which in one way is kind of like an excuse to do branding for companies, but there's a lot of artists like ourselves and also community organizers which are trying to think dynamically about democratically participatory media and storytelling. Right. And so for the first year ever, they have a juried category where they selected 5 different projects, which are called transmedia. It's a really crazy, ridiculous name. I didn't know I was doing transmedia until a number of years ago. Someone invited us to a panel and was like, "Oh, you do transmedia, come to this panel." And I was like,
"How do you tell your parents that you do transmedia?"
Yeah, I thought we had been through all those conversations already, but and so they're recognizing this type of media, and we won our category, and we were up against people.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And some of the other projects are funded by Google and sort of major sort of tech people who have a lot more funding and power in the media landscape than us. But so it was a real win for participatory storytelling.
Yeah, suck it, Google.
Yeah.
Guys, let's give it up for Rachel and Michael from Sandy Storyline.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Well, thanks for being here. Go to sandystoryline.com and get involved. All right, thanks, guys. Take care.